Good day. Welcome to this lecture series in Godot.
Hello, good day. Welcome back. Welcome to this lesson in Godot. In this lesson, we will consider numbers and number operations. So let's get started. So I'm going to give you a task. So the first thing you can do is switch to the player.gdscript. The next thing you can do is create a new function, create a function called test. You can add a print statement to the function, and you can call your function from the underscore ready parentheses, however you want to say it. So if you go ahead with that task. Okay, so we have the player, so we have the level one scene, we have the player scene. Let's shift to the player script. So we shift to the player script. So if you look at this script, this GDScript, you can look at this line here, the extends line. This runs from the player 1, which is a rigid body 2D. So it extends the rigid body 2D so you can access these properties. So we will work with this. I'll delete this, but not yet. So let's create a function called function test. So to create a function, you start with func, and you can see we can already get an error at line 8, expected function after func, so it's expecting a name. So this function, we can call this function test. Okay, I was expecting to start a supporting test anything. So the next thing to do is put the parentheses, which is the brackets. So we put the parentheses there, and it gives us a name. The function must either have a colon followed by a body. So this function A3 expected indented block after function declaration. So in other words, it expects us to go down and have the indented block. So we realize that once we are making a mistake, we see an error here and actually telling us what to do. So we are working with the function body. If you do not know what to put and just want a placeholder, what you can just do is type pass, and this will be okay. This will be like a placeholder, but we are not going to pass. We're going to print something, print brackets, colon, and to say this is just a test. I'm just putting in some text. I will save. This is a custom function we created. This Godot and GDScript doesn't know what this function is. So we need to call this function. I could call this function from ready. So what you can do, this is pass, it's just a placeholder. You can replace pass with test. And let's put this in parentheses. And here you save, you press play. This is just a test, so it shows up in the output panel right here. So that's very good. So we know this is working. I want to show you this. So you can go to here and you can print. This is just a test, then to a space, then type plus. So they basically combining two strings. Ha ha ha. So I just want to show you. So we can put, this is just a test, and then we could have put ha ha ha, but put a colon, one exclamation mark here, and press save, Control S and save, and we can press play. Well, this falls, okay, it's not a problem. But what I want to show is the output. You see, this is just a test, ha ha ha. Okay, so I want to create a space, so put a space here, or save, and maybe I have to press play again. So I'll stop, and I'll press play. That's the play output. Right. This is just a test. There's a space, then there's a ha ha ha. So this is working. I just wanted to show you, you can combine things like this. So I just wanted to show you the addition. So right now, what I'll show you next would be numbers. So I'll introduce you to numbers. So we have a number here, and this is 10. 10 is an integer. 10 is a whole number. So it could be 10, it could be 100, it could be 105. It's a whole number. The other type of number we have is a number with a decimal. So we can have a number like 105.2. The 105.2 is a float. So the number with decimal is a float. So we can print this. So let me just come out all this. So number sign, come out all this. Put the level 1. So put the clear 1 here and say print print. So I'm going to print this. Let's comment out the, so I'll comment out this. And for this to work on the pass, save this, save this, and let's just print. So if you press, well, we can press play here. We don't really too concerned about this, we just concerned about the output tab there, the output window here. We see here 105.2, so we see we print the decimal right here, print the float. So if you close up this window, so we could also do it like this, you know. We could also make this a string, so rather than using a float, we could do a string. So when you put the brackets like this is a string, and press save, and we can print. It will appear here, yes. So this will work. But why should we, so you might have a question. If we can use a string could be like numbers and letters, could be any combination of characters, right? So if we could use a string, why do we want to use a float, which is a number with a decimal? The reason for this is maths. We can do math on numbers. So if we have an integer or if we have a number with a decimal, so if we have a float, we can do math on that. But we cannot do maths on a string because a string could be any number of characters. It could be numbers, it could be letters, it could be all kind of funny symbols like question marks and all these things. That's the reason why we want to have and want to be able to use numbers and distinguish numbers from, like, let's say a string. So in Godot we have operators, and I will just come down here. I'll comment them here. So we have plus, addition, we have minus, subtraction, we have multiply, multiplication, we have this one here, division, and we also have this, which is like, let's say, to raise to the power of, and we have all these as mathematical operators inside of Godot. Now, I want to mention one time that we have more operators in GDScript, but I mean, these operators here are very common and we use these operators to perform maths. So I can do this. So I can have, let's say, 10 plus 2. Of course, you know the answer, the fact is 12. And if you want to see this, what you could do, you take the 10 plus 2. Okay, so I didn't like how I do that here. Press backspace. I'll take 10 plus, you know what? I'll put 10. So right now this is a string, and this will print 10 plus 5.12, and I will show you this. Save, and I'll print. Well, I'll play, and you can see here, this is what it will print as the output. We don't want that. We want to recognize this as math. So what we'll do, make this maths, and press save, and we'll stop, and you play, and you see 15.12. So now we can see this recognize math, so it actually performs the operation, the mathematical operation, where it adds the 5 to the 10. So this is working. So when you use GDScript like this, essentially you are using GDScript like a calculator because it can perform, I mean, with all these basic mathematical operations. I mean, think about it, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and raising to the power, which is like exponents. That is like the foundation about everything in maths. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with this. So basically, you can use this as, let's say, some kind of mathematical software to do mathematical operations. So now let's give this another what can I say, operation. So let's make this about 50, and let's divide this by 10. You know what? Let's divide by 12 because this will not be perfect. I want to show something with this, right? So we have this here. So we recognize this as numbers. We have this as an integer, 50 is an integer, 12 is an integer. Let's press play, and it actually works out. So let's give this a, obviously, 11. No, it have add. I'm supposed to have divide. My bad, divide. Yeah. And we just update. And you see this number here? This number is 4. So this is not a perfect. It's really not supposed to be 4. So it's 4 point something. And the reason why we get 4 as an integer, because this is an integer and this is an integer. If we want to get it decimals, we have to turn this into a float as well as this. Save. And if you update, you see here, we get this 4.166 whatever indefinitely up to 7. So I mean, we can perform maths inside of here. You see, you can perform maths in Godot using GDScript. Alright, so we just saw these basic mathematical operations performed in Godot, right, using GDScript. Now, we are performing maths, yes. We are generating numbers, yes. But we can't really do anything with these numbers because we're not really storing these numbers. In order to store these numbers, you'll need to have variables. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. So what I'll do, I'll end this video here. In the next video, we'll go more into variables because definitely you will need to use variables to perform further operations. So I'll end this video here. Thank you.